Part 84. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 831. The world of god-killing insects, the Sea of Mist and Mirage, the hometown of the Heavenly King section. The sun hangs high in the sky, but under the sun, endless mist surges and rises like the sea, and there are only two colors of blue and white between the sky and the earth. In the surging sea of fog, suddenly, a space crack appeared in the sky. Xuanhuan flashed, retracted his light wings, and walked out of the space crack. Heavenly King Sect, we have finally arrived. Looking at the familiar sea of fog in front of him, Xuanhuan's face showed a smile. He had only been to this place not long ago, but the last time he came, he was still in the Eight Suns realm. I came here for the divine spring in the Nine Yang realm, but this time I came back and was already a demigod. This is Xuanhuan's first stop when he returns to the god-killing insect realm. He comes here just to fulfill his agreement with the senior bronze man in the secret realm of the Heavenly King section. If there hadn't been that senior bronze man, without help, he wouldn't be able to advance to demigod status so quickly. Xuanhuan was familiar with it and dived into the endless sea of mirage. The mist in the sea of mist is rolling, with a certain mysterious meaning, and from time to time it creates some illusions. Mountains, seas, forest pools, heavenly palaces, ancient battlefields, various characters and Zerg races emerge from the sea of fog from time to time. Come out and dazzle. Xuanhuan has already been to this place once, and he is a master of formations, so these illusions cannot confuse him. Xuanhuan shuttles through the sea of clouds on his own, just like when Emperor Xuanhuan brought him here. When he flew into a vast sea of fog, Xuanhuan felt something in his heart. He stopped and looked around. This should be where the Heavenly King Sect's mountain gate is. As he spoke, Xuanhuan pinched a finger in his hand, and his divine power surged around his body. He pointed at the sea of fog, and the fog in the sea of fog suddenly rolled away. He recited the mantra silently in his heart and stretched out his hand. He clicked his finger in the void a few times. In the dispersed mist void, a burst of light and shadow twisted. As the void changed, a towering mountain peak thrust into the sky like a sharp sword appeared in front of Xuanhuan. Those peaks appeared in front of him. The sea of clouds in the middle was misty, and the scenery in front of me suddenly became dim and bright. Those peaks were like fairy mountains in the sky, with iron bones and an ethereal air. Sure enough it is. This magic method to open the mountain gate was not taught to him by Emperor Xuanhuan, but was taught to him by the senior bronze man in the secret realm of the Heavenly King Sect when he came. Haha, no matter how powerful the Heavenly King Sect is, they can't stand guarding the secret realm. The seniors are showing favoritism. Xuanhuan entered the gate of the Tianwang sect in a flash, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived in front of the magnificent hall of the Tianwang section. The wind chimes on the eaves of the hall made a sweet sound of tinkling bells in the wind, which made him the secular thoughts disappeared, and a few cranes were combing their feathers leisurely in front of the pool in front of the hall, not minding Xuanhuan's arrival. The secret realm and main hall of the Tianwang sect were still the same as before. There was not a single person in sight. Xuanhuan felt that no one had come here since the last time he was here. Xuanhuan entered the main hall, bowed to the statue of the Heavenly King in the main hall, and then came directly to the door of life and death, stepping into it in one step. The mottled ancient bronze hall appeared in front of Xuanhuan in the blink of an eye. 60 doors in the hall were closed. Haha, the Heavenly King Sect has sent someone here again. A familiar and cold voice sounded in the hall. Hearing this voice, Xuanhuan almost laughed. He hadn't noticed it before, but now that he heard it again, he felt the bad taste of the senior bronze man. He said this every time someone came, deliberately making people fearful. They think they are entering a dark shop through a tiger's mouth. Ha ha ha, senior, I'm here to see you. Xuanhuan laughed. Ah, it's you. Amidst the sound of grinding his teeth, the senior bronze man walked out of the shadows of the hall, looked at Xuanhuan, his eyes were rounded, even if the senior bronze man's the face was bronze, but Xiaopinggan still saw the look of shock on the face of the senior bronze man. Why are you back again, didn't you say yes? The senior bronze man walked towards Xiaopinggan, and just now halfway through, his face changed again. Your aura, how is it possible, you have already advanced to demigod? Senior Tongren was already surprised when he saw Xiaopinggan. What he didn't expect was that the aura on Xiaopinggan made his jaw drop. Demigod, how is it possible that this guy just left the Heavenly King sect? How long has it been in the secret realm? It's less than a year. Why have you advanced to demigod? I'll go. At this moment, the joints on the senior bronze man's body seemed to be rusty, and he could not move any further. Gu Feng. Thanks to my seniors, I have avoided many detours in the Nine Yang realm. Coupled with the coincidence, I have been lucky enough to advance to demigod. This time I came back to fulfill the agreement with my seniors. Xiaopinggan was modest. Said. I've really advanced, I've become a demigod. The bronze man was stunned for a long time. After a while, he suddenly woke up and muttered to himself in a hoarse and shocked voice, you don't need to call me senior, I'm not qualified to be a demigod senior, just call me Tongren. Senior was kind to me and gave me a lot of guidance. Without his help, I would not have been able to advance to demigod so quickly. Senior is still senior. Xiaopinggan said modestly. The senior Tongren suddenly sighed with emotion and said solemnly, well, I have met countless people here. You are the first person who will come back to see me after leaving here. It is enough for you to have this heart. As for what you promised me back then, just do your best, I won't force you, it's enough for me to have hopes and thoughts. As Xiaopinggan waved his hand, 22 bright Dream Master World beads appeared in front of him, floating in the void. Senior, there is no need to be sad, I am ready, and I will definitely let Senior's spirit body leave here, to see the spiritual world and the outside world. Senior Tongren looked at Xiaopinggan and the Dream Master World pearls floating in front of him, and suddenly shed tears. A few drops of rolling copper juice rolled down from his eyes, and the tears fell to the ground, all in one drop. The hot chaotic copper essence, after silently shedding a few drops of tears, the senior bronze man suddenly beat his chest and feet, and burst into tears. Xiaopinggan was a little stunned at first, but then he understood that a person who had been trapped here in the bronze body for countless thousands of years suddenly had the hope of leaving here and looking outside. That kind of the excitement and mood are understandable. Xiaopinggan didn't say anything, and kept waiting quietly beside him. The senior bronze man was almost done crying, and started laughing again, shouting and running around in the bronze hall like crazy. After struggling for more than 10 minutes, only then did the senior Tongren's emotions stabilize again and he stood in front of Xiaopinggan again. These world beads seemed to be all Dream Master world beads. Only at this time did the senior bronze man seriously look at the Dream Master world beads one by one. Can these world beads allow me to leave here? These Dream Master world beads are the key to entering the spiritual world. There are great secrets in the Dream Master world beads. As long as they are all integrated, the senior's spiritual body can escape from the copper body and enter the spiritual world. Xiaopinggan replied. No wonder, I have already fused 2 Dream Master world pearls before. Senior Tongren pointed at 2 of the 22 Dream Master world pearls. This is better, then just fuse 20 more. Xiaopinggan directly put away the 2 world beads. No spiritual crystal. I have mastered the secret method of Holy Master initiation of these world beads, and I can initiate them for seniors. If seniors are ready, we can start now. I have been preparing for tens of thousands of years, why do I need to prepare any more? Senior Tongren said, sitting down cross-legged in front of Xiaopinggan. These words made people feel sad. Xiaopinggan sighed in his heart. He had already taken a world bead from Yan Ying's dream interpretation. Let's start with this world bead. As he spoke, Xiaopinggan waved his hand. Suddenly, a ball of golden light appeared in Xiaopinggan's hand, and then Xiaopinggan completely pressed the ball of golden light into the head of the senior bronze man. Although the body of the senior Tongren is made of chaos copper essence, this chaos copper essence is his spiritual body and soul, and the target of Holy Master initiation is of course not a person's physical body, but a person's spiritual body and soul, so Xiaopinggan, the Holy Master, can still give the bronze man the Holy Master initiation. After the initiation, Xiaopinggan withdrew his hand and nodded. The senior bronze man had already drawn out a trace of his painstaking efforts that had been integrated into the bronze body, and integrated it into the world beat of Yan Ying's dream interpretation. In a moment, the whole person was surrounded by a cocoon of light. In less than 10 minutes, the cocoon of light on the senior bronze man's body was shattered, and the first fierce master world bead had been fused. Xiaopingyan began his second initiation, and senior Tongren began his second fusion. 2 days later, all 20 Dream Master World Pearls were integrated. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 832. Xiaopingyan stood calmly in the sky of the spirit world, watching the senior bronze man running tirelessly and crazily on the ground of the spirit world, shouting wildly, like a dragon trapped in a pond returning to the sea. The senior has been running like this for several hours and still has no intention of stopping. The spiritual world corresponding to the place where the Mirage Sea is located actually does not have a single bird feather. It is an endless desert. A thin layer of mist permeates this grey desert. On the desert, you can see from time to time there are a few dead old tree stumps buried in the sand dunes, and beyond that, there are endless rolling sand dunes. In the spiritual world of this place, there are no spiritual bodies, no nightmare insects, and no Muling Castle or Muling Fortress can be seen. It is really a desert in the spiritual world. In Xiaopingyan's eyes, this kind of scene was extremely boring, but to the senior bronze man, it was incomparably fresh, like a beautiful scene that he couldn't get enough of. Ha ha ha, I'm free, I'm free. The senior laughed loudly, took long strides and ran across the sand dunes like a gale, rushing from a low sand dune to the height of a dune peak, and then just like a child, he jumped into the air and let his body fall from the air, landing on the slope of the sand dune. From the highest point of the dune, he rolled all the way, like a rolling log, from the highest point to the sand valley below. The senior who rolled down seemed to have discovered something interesting, and rushed up from the sand valley below, and rolled a few more times, just like a child seeing the slide for the first time. After a few hours, the senior seemed to have finally vented his excitement and sat down cross-legged on a hillside. He stared blankly at the continuous sea of sand in the distance. He fell silent and seemed to be in a state of silence. Thinking about things on your mind. Xiaopingyan also flew over and sat next to the senior. Thank you, for giving me freedom again. By the way, my real name is Xuanhuan. It turns out to be called Xuanhuan, which is a bit poetic. Xiaopingyan said secretly in his heart. It wasn't until this moment that Xiaopingyan took a serious look at the appearance of this senior bronze man. The appearance shown by the spirit body at this moment was the true appearance of this senior bronze man. Compared with that bronze figure, the stern face in the main hall is like a bronze man's poker face. At this moment, this face is actually very handsome. It is the standard elegant uncle. The high bridge of the nose looks a bit unruly, and the brow bones around the eye sockets are prominent, making this senior bronze man's eyes look a little sunken and deep, his broad forehead showing wisdom, and the sad stubble and tightly pursed lips seem to have experienced vicissitudes of life. Senior Ancient, there are no people in the spirit world corresponding to the Sea of Mist where the Heavenly King sect is located, and you cannot see the spirit bodies and nightmare insects in the sky. The spirit worlds in other places are much more interesting than here. If you encounter nightmare insects, you can use the nightmare slaying sword I taught you to protect yourself. Killing nightmare insects can increase your soul power. This is also the responsibility of a shepherd. If you encounter human spirits, you can also communicate with them. Interesting. Your current strength is only equivalent to that of a junior pastor. Master the skills of a junior pastor. As long as you are strong enough and encounter a pastoral fortress, you can go there to learn and master higher level pastoral skills. Ability: I'm sorry, you can't learn the secret method of avatar in the spirit world at your current level. There are also portals to other worlds in this spirit world. You will know it when you meet it. Xiaoping'an was beside him. Explained. As a pastor, Xiaoping'an can already teach this senior bronze man the basic skills of a pastor. As for how far this senior bronze man can go on the path of a pastor, that is completely unclear. It's up to him, and Xiaoping'an can't help. This is where the master leads him in. Cultivation is personal. It doesn't matter. I am very satisfied to be able to enter the spiritual world. I have survived for thousands of years. Anyway, I have plenty of time. I can slowly explore this world and discover the fun and interesting things in this spiritual world. Here it's a new world for me. It's much bigger than the Bronze Palace. These sand dunes have various shapes, which is quite interesting. Gu's Hongai's face showed a bit of loneliness, and she smiled bitterly. Anyway, everyone I know is probably gone, and I don't need to rush to see anyone. Xiaoping'an didn't know how to respond or comfort him with these words. For some people, an infinite lifespan might be a tragedy, because his life was destined to be lonely. You are the only person I have seen who can advance from Taiji realm to demigod so quickly in these countless thousands of years. Senior Tongran took a deep breath, turned his head and looked at Xiaoping'an. His eyes he became profound and serious. I have a feeling that you have great luck, and you will definitely be able to become a god in the future. I think you will go to the realm of the gods soon, right? Gubo. Xiaoping'an smiled bitterly. Thank you for your words, senior, but the most difficult part of the road to becoming a god is the stage from demigod to becoming a god. The difficulty of this stage is more difficult than that from a summoner to a demigod, and from a demigod to a god there are almost no people in 1,000 who can become gods. The realm of the gods is also mysterious and unpredictable. Almost none of the powerful demigods who have entered the realm of gods have come back alive. There are only a few who can be crowned gods. I feel that the realm of the gods is like a big fire pit in the darkness, attracting countless strong demigods to swoop inside like moths. How many people can finally achieve nirvana and be reborn? You are right. The divine realm of the gods is a big fire pit that attracts all the powerful demigods from all the universes to rush into it. Senior Bronze Man also showed a bitter and reminiscing expression on his face. He shook his head. He nodded, looking at the vast sea of sand, and said in a vague tone, "But if you don't throw yourself into the brazier, all the moths will eventually turn into ashes. When a bug turns into a moth, you have seen the vastness of the world. Try to. If you have experienced the wonder of flying, how can you be willing to turn into dust later? Yes, maybe this is the fate of a cultivator. Once you embark on this path, it will be difficult to stop. The most addictive poison in the world is actually strength. Strength can bring everything: honor, status, money, beauty, honor, dignity, freedom, control. No one can refuse such temptation." Xiaoping'an also sighed with emotion. Yes, so only by fluttering into the brazier can the moths have the possibility of nirvana and becoming a phoenix besides turning into ashes. This is the way of heaven. Becoming a god is going against heaven. Why? Isn't it difficult? Those demigods who were lucky enough to survive from the realm of the gods have lost all their cultivation and are no different from mortals. They will live for another 100 years, be laughed at and pitied by others, lose everything, and then also turn into dust. And what's the point? Therefore, once the powerful demigods enter the realm of the gods, no one will want to come out again even if they fail in the end. There should be the final destination of the demigods, or they will die inside. Or become immortal and become a god. Xiaoping'an was stunned for a moment. The tone of this senior bronze man was a little strange, and he seemed to be very familiar with the situation in the all-heaven god realm, so he tried to ask, "Senior, it seems that he is very familiar with the situation in the all-heaven god realm." Senior bronze man smiled bitterly and shook his head. "I am probably the only one who can come out of the realm of gods and survive until now." Ah! Xiaoping'an was surprised. Could it be that, Senior has been to the god realm of the heavens? If I hadn't been to the god realm of the gods, I wouldn't be like this. Xiaoping'an's eyes suddenly widened. He really didn't expect that the senior bronze man in front of him had actually been to the all heavens god realm. Then why? You want to ask me why I can still come out of the all heaven god realm alive and still maintain the soul of a demigod, right? Because other people who failed to come out of the all-heaven god realm have basically been defeated. Chen Chen has become an ordinary person who will never be able to practice. I'm really curious. I didn't expect seniors to have such experiences. The reason why I can keep my demigod spirit body and soul and come out of the all-heaven god realm is because I got a treasure in the all-heaven god realm, had some opportunities, and finally got help from the gods, so I can still survive after the physical body is destroyed. I left the realm of the gods alive, but from now on, I can't enter the realm of the gods again, alas. Senior, what is the all-heaven realm like? Xiaoping'an asked quickly. If I want to go to the all-heaven realm, what preparations should I make? All preparations are useless. The only thing you can prepare is not to leave any regrets in this world before you go. When you get to that place, just think that you are going to die, Senior Bronze Man said. Moreover, as a demigod, you can stand at the top of the food chain in this world and look down on all living beings. But when a demigod gets there, you are just a person slightly stronger than ordinary people. Above you, there are countless others. The strong man is looking down at you. Xiaoping'an suddenly became energetic, a little stronger than ordinary people. What do you mean, Senior? There are many ordinary people in the gods' domain. Of course, imagine that countless powerful demigods from all realms in the universe have arrived in the all-heaven god realm, and there are very few who can become gods in the all-heaven god realm. If the other powerful demigods cannot become gods, the same will happen. They will fall into ashes in the realm of the gods. In their limited life, it is natural for them to reproduce and reproduce. Those descendants who are reproduced by the strong demigods, as well as their descendants, will continue to reproduce in this way. Are naturally ordinary people in the realm of the gods. The demigods who have just entered the realm of the gods are only a little stronger than these ordinary people, and the number of those ordinary people is far more than the strong demigods who entered it. Many. Senior Bronze Man said this, and the situation in Xiaoping'an's mind in the god realm of the gods suddenly became much clearer. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 833. Xiaoping'an wanted to collect information about the all-heavens god realm and make some preparations, but he never thought that the senior bronze man in front of him was someone who had been to the all-heavens god realm. This was such good luck, Xiaoping'an, how could he let go of such an opportunity? He had many questions in his mind and asked them immediately. Senior means that ordinary people in the god realm are different from ordinary people in other places, because they are descendants of demigods and grew up in places like the god realm, so even if they are ordinary people, but they also have extraordinary abilities, so the demigods who enter the realm of gods are just a little stronger than ordinary people. Is this what you mean? Xiaoping'an asked himself that there was no problem with his logical reasoning, but what he didn't expect was that after hearing Xiaoping'an's words, this senior bronze man shook his head and laughed. Wrong, absolutely wrong. in the realm of the gods the ordinary people there are basically the same as the ordinary people you see in Xuanhuan world and other secret realms, and they are not much stronger. Xiaopinggan was surprised. Then why does the senior say that the demigods who enter the realm of gods are only slightly stronger than ordinary people? Although it's just a point, for many ordinary people in the god realm, this point is like a chasm, insurmountable, because ordinary people there cannot practice at all, and above ordinary people, there are demigod-level experts. Ordinary people in the gods realm can't practice, Xiaopingyan asked in surprise. Yes, the all-heaven god realm was originally a training ground for demigods. In the all-heaven god realm, only those who have grown divine bones can practice. Ordinary people naturally cannot practice, but ordinary people there may be able to practice somewhere. At that time, they became the favored ones of the gods, received the favor of God, and awakened overnight to inherit the secret mandala that their ancestors had when they first arrived in the realm of gods, and became existences comparable to demigods. Xiaopingyan was stunned when he heard this. This was simply too perverted. Ordinary people there either could not practice cultivation, or they could inherit the mantle of their ancestors overnight. This was a bit beyond his imagination. Senior, why is this happening? I don't know exactly why this is happening, but for all the fallen demigods in the all-heaven god realm, their secret mandalas will not collapse and dissipate with their fall, but will be absorbed by the all-heaven god realm, and their bloodline people in the younger generation may, at some point, inherit their secret mandala and become awakened ones. Will the divine realm absorb the secret mandala of fallen demigods? Xiaopingyan felt like he was listening to a book from heaven. Yes, it's not surprising that you know this as long as you see the image of the gods in the heavens. What is the image of the god realm in the heavens? It's a tree, a huge tree. That tree is bigger than a galaxy, and its fruits are stars. As long as you take a look at the appearance of the gods in the gods, you will never forget that any god, in the gods of the gods, everyone in the world is small and humble. When Senior Bronze Man said this, a look of nostalgia appeared on his face. Xiaopingyan's heart was shocked, and he vaguely grasped something. In this way, the all-heaven god realm is really an unimaginable place. Is there a god in the all-heaven god realm? Yes, there is the only place where mortals can become gods and contact gods. Then how do ordinary people in the gods realm live? Grain pigeon. Live like all the ordinary people you see in the secular world. There are also different countries there. Ordinary people grow old, sick, and die, and have daily necessities. For survival, rights, money, women fight against each other, murder, conspiracy, betrayal, nobles, commoners, rich people. Man, the poor, is no different from the world. What about the path of cultivation of demigods in that world? Demigods are not called demigods in that world, but are called gods beloved. The ranks of gods beloved from low to high are level 1 to 11. After the 11th level, all 99 divine bones are available. Sublimation. Once the great divine fire is ignited, you can become a god. At this point, Senior Bronze Man slowed down and stared at Xiaopingyan with an unprecedented serious tone. You have to pay attention. After arriving in the realm of the gods, your body will 99 god-sealing bones will grow step by step, opening up the path to the cultivation of the gods. However, the price and prerequisite for growing the god-sealing bones is that like a baby, you will experience some form of rebirth and become very weak. But there are endless possibilities. Baby. The 99 god-sealing bones can only be seen on newborn babies. Newly born babies seem to be the weakest, but they are actually the most powerful. This is the test that must be endured on the road to becoming a god. Maybe this is the arrangement of heaven, or maybe it's Senior Bronze Man who hesitated a little. What else could it be? Senior Bronze Man thought for a while and then said slowly, this is just my guess, not accurate. I think the gods don't want too many people to become gods alongside them, so they will let people enter. The demigods in the realm of the gods have experienced huge sacrifices and sinking. Only those who can rise again amidst that huge sacrifice and sinking and climb to the highest place can have the possibility of igniting the divine fire of the avenue. Xiaopinggan wanted to ask more details, but Senior Bronze Man suddenly held his head, with a look of pain on his face, and began to pant violently. It took a long time to recover a little. Sorry, it has been too many years. It has been tens of thousands of years, and I no longer remember many things in the God realm. Perhaps I forgot deliberately and erased many unpleasant memories from my brain. Now I have a splitting headache when I think about it. The strongest and most important memory about the realm of the gods is about the great Dao divine fire. Ah, where can I find the great Dao divine fire? My memory only contains one sentence: the divine fire of the great avenue is not somewhere else, but in your heart. Xiaopingyan can only go so far on the issues of the God realm of the gods, but being able to understand these is already a great gain for Xiaopingyan. Xiaopingyan stayed in the secret realm of the Tianwang sect for another day. One day later, the Tianwang sect was in trouble, and Xiaopingyan said goodbye to the Senior Bronze Man and left the secret realm of the Tianwang sect. One day later, over the Immortal Sea, more than 2,000 miles southeast of Wolong Island, the sea breeze blew through the white clouds in the sky. Among the layers of clouds, a void portal was quietly opened. Then, Xiaopingyan, who had transformed into a dragon fantasy, walked out of the void portal and smiled. With a movement of his body, he suddenly flew out of the layers of white clouds, appeared in the sky, and then flew towards Wolong Island. There are not many people in the airspace here. Even if there are one or two people occasionally, they won't be surprised to see a summoner flying out of the clouds. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 834. As the core area of the entire Immortal Sea, Wolong Island is still lively after a few years, as if it has never changed. However, as it gets closer to a distance of several hundred kilometers from Wolong Island, there are more people in the sky. At the highest point of the blue sky, you can still see the huge space crack. The Pantheon is in the crack, like a delicacy in the mouth of a jackal, with faint electric light, being devoured bit by bit. The first time I saw such a scene was shocking, but the more I saw it, both Xiaopingyan and the summoners coming and going around Wolong Island were all numb, hanging in the sky, being swallowed up by this world. Pantheon is like an ordinary celestial body in the world of god-killing insects. It can no longer attract more people's attention to its existence. At this moment, Xiaopingyan has turned into a dragon fantasy, and his body vaguely reveals the aura of the Seven Suns realm. In the world of god-killing insects, as long as a master of the Seven Suns realm does not take the initiative to provoke others, generally no one will dare to provoke him casually. Xiaopingyan came to Wolong Island just to find the 9 sons of Yundao. The power of the laws of the god-killing insect realm is too powerful, and it naturally has a suppressive effect on the powerful demigods. Even if Xiaopingyan has advanced to demigod, but his remote viewing ability was restrained as soon as he came to the world of god-killing insects. Therefore, if he wanted to inquire about the 9 sons of Yundao, it was naturally best to come to Wolong Island. In a short time, Xiaopingyan flew over the busiest city in the middle of Wolong Island, then landed directly on the bustling streets of the city and started strolling on the streets. On this street, it is still the same as before. Humans and sharks are mixed together, each doing their own business. There are all kinds of precious medicinal materials from the sea, such as pearls and chalcedony, being sold everywhere. Xiaopingyan walked and came to a bustling street. In front of the lively tavern, after hearing the commotion inside the tavern, I walked directly into the tavern, ordered a bottle of wine and 2 plates of side dishes, and listened to the people in the tavern chatting with relish while drinking. The world of god-killing insects is still very lively recently. One of the supreme killers of the Tianxia League rebelled against the Tianxia League and broke the news that the Tianxia League was colluding with the ancient survivors. Just this news suddenly pushed the Tianxia League to the forefront and became the target of public criticism. The Divine Tomb sect fell apart, and several sects on the other side of Hoki Mountain were at war with each other in order to compete for the Divine Tomb sect's territory. There was also a certain divine son of a divine family who actually eloped with someone, which also made a group of people in the restaurant talk about it. The magic door in Yuan Kai's world is wide open, and demonic disasters occur frequently in various places, which seems to herald the coming of turmoil. Xiaopingan listened, and was about to find someone to inquire about the 9 sons of Yundao. Suddenly, what a table of drinkers were talking about caught Xiaopingan's attention, and Xiaopingan's hand raised his glass. Stopped. Have you heard that the saint of the Tianxing sect integrated the Sun Saint Realm Pearl some time ago and has made an appointment with the Wanchen sect's merchant to take the people from the Wanchen star to the secret realm of the Wanchen section? You know that the Wanchen sect. What price will you pay this time? Really? I heard it before. I thought it was hearsay, but I didn't expect it to be true. Of course it's true. One of my brothers is in the Wanchen sect and has become a red-robed deacon in the Wanchen section. He told me personally that the master of the Wanchen sect had heard that he went to the secret realm of heaven for this matter. The sect leader has returned, and a few days ago he personally received the senior leaders of Tianxing sect at the headquarters. Ah, I didn't expect that the saint of Tianxing sect could actually fuse with the Sun Saint Realm Pearl. If you want Tianxing sect to rescue those people on the Wanchen star, then the price paid by the Wanchen sect must be quite high. Of course, I heard that the saintly girl from the Tianxing sect is amazingly talented. She is a peerless talent that the Tianxing sect has only seen for 1,000 years. She is also a disciple of the leader of the Tianxing section. She will inherit the Tianxing sect in the future. The Wanchen sect will. The price paid this time is said to be the divine spring of the 7 sun realm controlled by the Wanchen sect in the Immortal Sea. In the future, this divine spring may be shared with the Tianxing section. 2 days ago, I heard that the saints and masters of the Tianxing sect have arrived in the Immortal Sea. Piamiao Mountain may be here to take over and inspect the sacred spring of Wanchen section. The saint of Tianxing sect, isn't that Mingrulan? The last time I saw Mingrulan took out the Sun Saint World Bead and said that the Tianxing sect had sect notes that could be used for reference to integrate the Sun Saint World Bead, which could improve the power of the Sun Saint World Bead. Fusion rate. The most enviable thing of the 10,000 God sect in the Immortal Sea is the 7 Sun Realm Divine Spring controlled by the 10,000 God section. That Divine Spring can continuously create masters of the 7 Sun Realm. Based on the information he had, Xiaopingan immediately came to the conclusion that what the diners at the table were talking about was most likely true. Piamiao Mountain was another stronghold of the Wanchen sect in the Immortal Sea. Mingrulan was at this moment maybe in Piamiao Mountain. With thoughts swirling in his mind, Xiaopingan had already stood up and walked towards a table of guests not far away. There were 4 men drinking at the table. They looked quite heroic and talkative. When they were chatting just now, Xiaopingan listened for a while and found that the 4 men at the table had spent a lot of time in the Sea of Immortality. Years ago, he was well informed and seemed to know very clearly about many things that happened in the Sea of Immortality. Xiaopingan walked up to the 4 drinkers at the table. The attention of the 4 chatting people suddenly shifted to Xiaopingan. One of them even winked at the 3 people next to him, secretly wary, thinking that are you here to cause trouble? Xiaopingan bowed his hands politely, with a smile on his face, brothers, please invite me. I just listened to the chat of some brothers and found that they are very familiar with the situation of the Immortal Sea, so I took the liberty to bother you. I want to ask some brothers about something, and the money spent on drinks by these brothers today will be credited to my account. When they heard that Xiaopingan was here to inquire about information, and his attitude was polite, the expressions of those people suddenly relaxed. Mackerel. I don't know what information this dear friend wants to inquire about. We don't know much. We just gather often, so we have a little understanding of the situation in the Dead Sea, said a bearded man among the four people. Brother, please don't be nervous. What I'm inquiring about is not some secret or shameful thing. It's just that I have a few friends named Yundao Jizi. I haven't seen them for many years. This time I came to the Sea of Immortality and wanted to meet them again. Juju, brothers, do you know where the 9 sons of Yundao are recently? The Immortal Sea is too big, and the 9 cloud islands often run around in groups. Xiaopingan really doesn't know where they have gone, so he can only ask someone to find out. Do you know Feng Liu? The other dark-faced man at the wine table was slightly startled, and looked at Xiaopingan again, looking a little surprised. Of course I know you. What a coincidence, I also know Feng Liu. I don't think I've ever heard Feng Liu mention having a friend like you. The man still stared at Xiaopingan with suspicion and vigilance. Ha ha ha, my surname is Long, Brother Feng, and the others should have said that. Xiaopingan smiled slightly. Surnamed Long, the man was stunned for a moment, as if he suddenly remembered something. He looked at Xiaopingan's face again, and the look on his face suddenly became exciting. He stood up and looked at Xiaopingan again. Oh, you are the one. Xiaopingan nodded. The man did not call out Longhuan and Soul Master, but looking at Xiaopingan's expression, there was still a hint of respect. He no longer had that kind of vigilance and suspicion, but immediately sent a message to Xiaopingan. The whereabouts of Yundao Jizi, Feng Liu and the others are collecting colorful crystal sand in the Coral Sea these days. Coral Sea, thank you. Ahem, Master Long, you're welcome. The man said through a message, respectfully watching Xiaopingan leave. After Xiaopingan paid the bill, he left the tavern. As soon as he left the tavern, the map of the Coral Sea immediately appeared in his mind. That place is a sea area 150,000 kilometers east of Wolong Island. The products produced in that place coral is the most beautiful, and there are many precious seafood. Colorful crystal sand is one of them. Colorful crystal sand is one of the tools for casting spells. It can enhance the power of summoning and illusion spells, and it is also considered a rare thing. Xiaopingan flew out of Wolong Island and used magic to enter the clouds. As soon as he entered the clouds, Xiaopingan reached out and made a splash in the sky, directly shattering the void, opening a passage in the air, and stepping into the passage in one step. A few seconds later, Xiaopingan walked out of the air again and had reached the Coral Sea, more than 100,000 kilometers away in an instant. Viewed from the air, the water of the Coral Sea is like a piece of tourmaline, sparkling in the sun, and it is so beautiful that it makes people enchanted. Xiaopingan looked at the sea surface, and in the next second, he had entered the sea, heading towards where he could collect colorful crystals. Swim quickly to the sandy place. 20 minutes later, Xiaopingan found the place where Yundao Jizi collected colorful crystal sand. The style of doing things among the 9 sons of Yundao is still as steady as ever. An anti-5 elements tracing formation protects the bottom of a coral sea that produces colorful crystal sand. Among the 9 sons of Yundao, Lianyuzhu, Lao Wu, and Lao Qi are guarding outside the formation. As soon as Xiaopingan approached, the 3 people immediately spotted Xiaopingan. Then, the 3 people's eyes immediately widened, thinking that they were dazzled. Everyone, I haven't seen you for a long time. It turns out that you have made a fortune here recently. How about I share it? Xiaopingan smiled and greeted the 3 of them. Dragon Huan. Lianyuzhu almost shouted, feeling extremely happy all of a sudden. Brother Long. Lao Wu and Lao Qi of Yundao Jizi also shouted at once. The 3 of them rushed directly towards Xiaopingan. Lao Wu and Lao Qi of Yundao Jizi grabbed Xiaopingan's arms, looked at Xiaopingan from head to toe, and laughed loudly. Brother Long, really it's you. In comparison, Lianyuzhu's look at Xiaopingan was a little more complicated, but she could hold it back, dared to love and hate, without the childish attitude, and her eyes were full of joy. Haha, of course it's me. Xiaopingan also laughed, very happy. Since coming to the world of Yuan-Kaiu, Xiaopingan doesn't have many friends, but Yun Daojizi can count them among them. Seeing these people again, Xiaopingan also feels like meeting old friends. I'll call Big Brother and the others. The fifth among the 9 Yun Dao disciples laughed, and immediately turned around and flew towards the formation. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 835. As night fell, a blazing bonfire was lit on an island in the Coral Sea. The sea breeze blew the tall palm trees on the island, blowing the laughter below into the distance. The bonfire was grilling delicious food, and the aroma of wine seemed particularly intoxicating in this warm atmosphere. Brother Long, come on, let's do it. Feng Liu, who had drops of wine on his beard, laughed loudly and raised his glass again. With this glass, I wish Brother Long will advance to the Seven Suns realm. The future is limitless. The other members of Yundaojizi also raised their wine glasses one by one and looked at Xiaopingan with envy. Brother Long is a soul master. He is very talented and can advance quickly. It is only natural that we can't even envy him, ha ha ha. Said the fourth of Yun Dao's 9 sons. Yes, fourth brother is right. After not seeing each other for a few years, the dragon fantasy who was at the same level as them has now advanced to the netherworld realm. The speed of this advancement is really enviable. Compared with Xiaopingan, the advancement path of Yundaojizi is the template for most summoners. Even if everything goes well, it will take an average of 70 or 80 years for a summoner from the 6 Sun realm to advance to the 7 Sun realm. This can only be done if there is a divine spring in the 7 Yang realm. In fact, many summoners in the 6 Yang realm may end up stuck at the peak of the 6 Yang realm for their whole life because they cannot obtain the divine spring in the nether realm, and it is difficult to make any progress. In the end, all the edges and corners were worn away by time and years and turned into loess. Xiaopingan looked at the 9 Yundao sons and felt a little envious in his heart. Although the 9 Yundao sons were not biological brothers and sisters, the 9 of them got along like brothers and sisters. Everything they got was basically shared equally. Everyone take responsibility together and make progress together. We haven't seen each other for several years. At this moment, the strength of the 9 Yundao sons has steadily improved a lot, although they are still far away from the 7 Suns realm. At this rate of advancement, they are advancing steadily. For within 50 years, reaching the peak of the 6 Yang realm is a high probability event. I am used to wandering alone. It seems that I have advanced a little faster, but I have also experienced a lot of dangers. The ups and downs are hard to describe. In comparison, I envy you more for being carefree. Every day, you are accompanied by brothers and friends, wine, and indulgence. You can travel anywhere in the world, so what regrets do you have at this point in your life? Ha ha ha, Brother Long is really good at comforting people. Feng Liu put down his wine glass and laughed. Actually, we are so comfortable because we are self-aware. We know how much we weigh. Our cultivation qualifications are all average and we can practice. To reach today's realm is considered a fluke. As for the future, let alone the 9 Yang realm, it is impossible to even reach the 8 Yang realm. Unless there is a great opportunity, among the 9 of us, maybe we can achieve it. There are 1 or 2 who have advanced to the 8 Yang realm. If we are lucky, we may be able to hope for the 7 Yang realm. Since the future path has been clearly seen, why bother now? It is better to be free, steady, and happy. Big Brother is right. Although it is humans' instinct to pursue higher places, in fact many tragedies in the world are that those people do not see themselves clearly and have too many extravagant hopes that are beyond their reach even if they jump up. This how many summoners are there in the 7 Sun realm in the world, and how many can advance from the 7 Sun realm to the 8 Yang realm. We all know very well that since we know that there are some things that we can't reach even if we jump up, it's better to stay down to earth. It will be easier if you do something you can do. The second among Yun Dao's 9 sons said. Okay, That's well said. There will be no question in this life of freedom. From ancient times, everything will come to an end. Xiaopinggan also laughed, and with a wave of his hand, a jar of new wine appeared in front of everyone. A strange aroma of wine overflowed from the wine jar. Under the nourishment of this aroma of wine, the flowers and plants next to everyone, all of them that could bloom at once bloomed, and those that did not bloom also grew. It was so lush that for a while, everyone was surrounded by all kinds of wild flowers and weeds. Yundaojiza was all amazed. This was the first time they had seen such a drink. Needless to say, the value of this wine was definitely beyond imagination. I got these wines by chance outside. The name of this wine is Shenxianzy. It is the best wine. I just want to get drunk with you today. Come and drink. As soon as the immortal drunk was drunk, the atmosphere of the bonfire party was pushed to a climax. After just one sip of the immortal drunk, everyone felt that their energy channels were opening, their pores were stretched, and they had an urge to sing loudly. Finally, someone started to sing, and Xiaopinggan was dragged to the bonfire by the red-faced Lianyuzhu to dance together. Some people started to scream strangely, some started to boo, and others laughed and gathered around, calling a few beautiful maids came out and danced and sang together around the campfire, so happy. Everyone was drunk, including Xiaopinggan. Guxian. A sneeze. Feng Liu sneezed and suddenly opened his eyes and woke up. When he woke up, Feng Liu found himself lying on a soft lawn, with warmth all over his body and still lingering between his lips and teeth. There was an evocative smell of immortal drunkenness, but what surprised him even more was that he found that his body's energy and blood had increased a lot, and his muscles and bones had become much stronger. The entire secret mandala's divine power had been fully charged. The whole person's condition is unprecedentedly good, as if he has eaten something heavenly and earthly. Oops, I was drunk last night. Could it be that my current physical condition is the effect of those divine sins I drank last night? Feng Liu was startled and quickly got up. When he saw the surrounding situation clearly, Feng Liu was almost dumbfounded. All 9 Yundao sons were drunk on the surrounding beaches and lawns. In front of everyone, there was a sparkling Horcrux exuding a powerful aura. And around the lawns and beaches, there was also the sky. In the middle, one thing was shrouded by a large canopy. On the beach, there was a stick of incense that was about to be burned out. The incense had a refreshing and special fragrance that could make people wake up instantly. It was the smell that fragrance made Feng Liu wake up. Brother Longhuan is no longer here. Feng Liu looked at the Horcrux in front of him. It was a pure gold Horcrux warbow with lightning patterns all over the bow. Feng Liu couldn't take his eyes away when he saw this warbow. He felt that this thing was it was exactly the kind of Horcrux he had dreamed of. At the same time, there was a note on the bow. These are the 9 things that I have left to you as a soul weapon master. This is what I promised to give to you before. Please don't refuse it as a little bit of my gratitude. The formation that now protects this island is called Chaos Lock Immortal 10,000 Techniques Seal. Grand Formation. I have integrated the cardinal secret key of the Grand Formation into the 9 Horcruxes. If you encounter an emergency in the future, Brother Feng can take out this formation disc to protect yourself. This formation disc is enough to kill Ba Yang. Realm experts, those above the 9 Yang realm, and even demigods, if they see Brother Feng and others protected by this array, they will probably know the origin of this array, and they will not dare to mess with Brother Feng and the other brothers. It is a blessing for me to meet sisters. I have taken one step in advance. Don't worry about it, and don't look for it. If there is another chance in the future, we will get drunk again. Feng Liu can be considered a tough guy, but looking at the note in his hand and what Xiaopinggan left for them, Feng Liu's heart was racing and his nose was a little sore at this moment. Ah, what is this? Lianyuzhu, who had fallen asleep among the flowers, also woke up and immediately saw the pair of Horcruxes placed in front of her. What Xiaopinghan gave to Lianyuzhu was a pair of fire weapons. The red hook could be used with both hands. Lianyuzhu couldn't move her eyes away when she looked at the pair of hooks. The other Yun Dao 9 sons woke up one after another at this time, and each of them saw the Horcrux in front of them, and they were all extremely surprised. These Horcruxes were all left by Brother Long for us. Feng Liu, whose eyes were a little red, passed the note on his hand to everyone. After everyone saw it, everyone had complicated expressions. Lianyuzhu looked at the pair of hooks that Xiaopinghan gave her. Pearl-like teardrops were already dripping down. In this pair of hooks, there was a word on the handle of each hook, which was the name of the hook. One hook is called Li, and the other hook is called Farewell. This is the farewell hook. When everyone put away the Horcruxes and the chaos-locking immortal 10,000 techniques forbidden formation left by Xiaopinghan, they were all shocked when they saw the scene outside the island. Within 1 kilometer of the island, the sea was bustling with activity, and there were many fish and shrimps flopping on the sea, as if they were drunk. Last night, someone seemed to have thrown the finished wine jar of immortal drunk into the sea while singing. Unexpectedly, the little remaining immortal drunk in the wine jar made all the fish and shrimps in the sea drunk. Just when Feng Liu and the others woke up, Xiaopinghan had already arrived at Piamiao Mountain, which was more than 100,000 kilometers away. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 836. Piao Miao Mountain is located on an island in the Immortal Sea. This is a stronghold of the 10,000 God sect in the Immortal Sea. When the Immortal City was destroyed by the Insect King, Xiaopinghan came here with the disciples of the 10,000 God sect. Setting foot on Piao Miao Mountain again, Xiaopinghan's heart was filled with ups and downs. From a distance, Piao Miao Mountain is covered with clouds and mist, and several green peaks are looming among the clouds, which is quite misty. But in the blink of an eye, the peaks disappear again, completely covered by the clouds and mist, and are invisible. The entire misty mountain disappeared. After suffering the loss of the Immortal City, the Xuanhuan sect finally learned a little better and built an upside-down 5 elements tracing formation in the Piao Miao Mountain to protect the Piao Miao Mountain. It is not that easy for outsiders to enter casually. This 5 elements tracing formation, the layout is pretty good, even the masters of the 8 Yang realm can withstand it for a while, which is enough to give an early warning to the people inside. Looking at Piao Miao Mountain from a distance, Xiaopinghan saw from the perspective of everyone in the formation that Piao Miao Mountain was being protected by a large formation. In addition to the large formation, he also felt that the surrounding areas of the island were, in the sky and under the sea, there are more than 1 auras of masters of the 8 Yang realm and the 9 Yang realm hidden. The atmosphere around the Piao Miao Mountain seems calm and harmonious, but it is full of weirdness. The few experts above the 8 Yang realm hiding around Piao Miao Mountain are invisible to ordinary people, but in the eyes of Xiaopinghan, who has advanced to the level of demigod, they can see them clearly. One of them, an old guy from the 8 Yang realm, it's quite interesting to use illusions to hide in the clouds and mist in the sky of Piao Miao Mountain, wandering around. The old guy looks like a monkey. He looks like a cunning person at first glance, and he doesn't know where he came from. In an inn in this island city, there were also 2 scholars disguised as 6 Yang realm playing chess in the courtyard of the inn. However, the auras of the 2 scholars had already reached the 8 Yang realm, and their traces of spiritual thoughts were staring at Piao Miao Mountain. In the sea outside Piao Miao Mountain, there are 2 9 Sun realm masters lurking under the vast blue waves. One of the 2 9 Sun realm masters lurking in the sea is wearing a black robe, has a Chinese character face, and is full of evil aura. He is a strange face. But I know and have met another Xiaopinghan. The man carrying a long sword and looking like an immortal is the Wuchen Zhen who he had seen when he followed the true Lord Styx into the land of the gods. June. Seeing true monarch Wuchen, Xiaopinggan looked around the island again, and sure enough he found several disciples of true monarch Wuchen. The disciples of true monarch Wuchen all carried long swords and were scattered around the island. Why do so many people gather around this island? Is it for the sacred spring of Wanchen sect? Thinking of the news that the Tianxing sect masters who had heard before came here to receive the news about the divine spring of the seven sun realm of the 10,000 god sect, Xiaopinggan's heart moved, and he vaguely understood something. The divine spring of the seven sun realm, such an important resource, is important to many forces and experts. It's said to be a huge attraction, so it's no wonder that so many experts gathered on this small island. However, Xiaopinggan didn't have any trouble in his heart. Now the masters of Nine Yang realm no longer have the slightest threat in his eyes. After experiencing the war of thousands of races in the secret realm of Heaven's Dao, this battle in his eyes is like playing house with a child. Similar. If these people are staring outside, it means that the people from Tianxing sect are still in Piaomiao mountain and have not left. Ming Rulan should be there too. Xiaopinggan thought for a while, then hid his body, silently arrived outside the Piaomiao mountain formation, and dived into the formation. With Xiaopinggan's demigod ability, all those who were paying attention to Piaomiao mountain were no one, including the people in Piaomiao mountain, could find any trace of him. The upside-down 5 elements tracing formation was troublesome for Bai La, but for Xiaopinggan, this formation was like placing a few wooden stakes on the path he was going to take. He could easily get in after going around. This Piaomiao mountain occupies a large area, and there are many pavilions, caves, secret passages and the like. Xiaopinggan didn't bother to look for it anymore and directly summoned the god of fortune boy. The boy of the god of fortune disappeared in a flash and appeared a second later. By Ming Rulan's side. In a quiet valley full of waves and gurgling streams in Piaomiao mountain, Ming Rulan, who is wearing a long white dress and has a temperament as bright as a snow peak, is sitting in a pavilion in the valley, playing the piano. Ming Rulan, the sound of the piano and the harmony of the stream were like the sound of nature, attracting a group of colorful butterflies flying around her. The plump mandarin fish in the stream jumped out of the water one by one. This scene was as poetic as picturesque, and the god of fortune boy came to hear. I can't help but jump for joy chasing those colorful butterflies. At this moment, Ming Rulan already has the aura of a powerful person in the 8 Yang realm. To be honest, when seeing Ming Rulan, Xiaopinggan felt that if he did not have the special ability to fuse the world beads, among all the members who participated in the Sky Mending project, the one who was most likely to become a god and complete the plan was actually Ming Rulan. Rulan's aura was unlike anything in the world. But in this scene, there is still a disturbing presence. There was a crash, and by the stream outside the pavilion, a white-haired guy, naked to the waist, holding a sharpened stick, plunged into the stream, and speared a mandarin fish that was out of the water. It jumped up, frightening the other mandarin fish and running away, causing the water in the stream to splash. Ha ha ha, Rulan, this fish is fat enough. It has absolutely zero pollution. It will be delicious when grilled. The guy raised the wooden stick in his hand towards Ming Rulan and made a pose that showed off his body and muscles. The fish was still struggling and swinging on the wooden stick, but the guy laughed loudly, making his chest muscles tremble coquettishly. I want to get a few more and keep them in the space equipment for when I want to eat them later. Take it out again. Xiaopinggan was shocked when he saw that guy. The guy looked a bit cool with his white hair, but he had a mean smile on his face. He was exposing his flesh by the stream and had a pair of sneaky breasts. With an air of indifference, and still showing off in front of Ming Rulan, who is that bastard Yan Duo? Guli. How could this guy Yan Duo, in the Tianxing sect, have actually advanced to the 6 Yang realm? This surprised Xiaopinggan. Ming Rulan sighed, and her fingers on the piano gently pressed on the strings like a row of green onions. The sound of the piano stopped suddenly, and the colorful butterflies around her flew away. "Have you not heard about him in the past few days?" Mingruolan looked at Yan Duo and asked. "Last time, a group of people from the Blood Demon cult and the Lord of the Golden Moon Palace suffered heavy losses in the Immortal Sea. I heard that. Did he appear in the Sea of Immortality?" "Don't worry, I have a hunch that that guy will definitely not die. He is very lucky. He is like an iron monkey and more clever than me. The masters that the Blood Demon sect lost in the Sea of Immortality must have been tricked by him. With his style, after the Blood Demon cult was tricked by the Immortal Sea, he will never stay here again." Yan Duo curled his lips and scratched his head. "There are only 10,000 divine springs in the Seven Sun realm in the Immortal Sea. Only the Shen sect has it. In the past 2 days, I asked a deacon of the Wan Shen sect to help check the list of personnel sent by the Wan Shen sect to the Xuanhuan of the Seven Sun realm in the Immortal Sea in the past few years. I found that he did not join the Wan Shen section. This is a bit strange. Yeah, I think that guy has been to the Sea of Immortality, and if he advances to the Seven Suns realm, he will definitely not let go of the 10,000 gods section." After listening to Yan Duo's words, Xiaoping'an was speechless. This guy's brain was so easy to use that he was like a round worm in his stomach. If he hadn't had an accident in the Wanshan sect, he would have killed the Seven Suns realm in the Sea of Immortality. The divine spring merged. Mingruolan looked at Yan Duo with an expressionless expression. "Can you put on your clothes first?" Yan Duo looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle. "Ahem, on this island with blue sky and white clouds, you should feel free to enjoy some sunbathing. By the way, Ruolan, how long has it been since you swam?" "I'm watching. There are 2 bathhouses on the island which are pretty good. There are definitely not many places in the world of god-killing insects that can provide divine springs in the Seven Sun realm. Since he has been to the Sea of Immortality, I don't think he will give up so easily." Mingruolan seemed not to have heard what that bastard Yan Duo said, but frowned slightly. "Maybe he doesn't know our current situation. If he knows we are here, he will definitely come to us." "Yes, that's right," Yan Duo nodded, and immediately a happy and confident smile appeared on his face. "He should still be in the 6 Yang realm now. I would like to see when he knows that I have also advanced to the 6 Yang realm." His expression was disgusting. Last time we were in Shangjing, he actually pretended to be fake. He actually hooked up with the princess of the Great Shang Kingdom. Now I see how he pretends. Princess of the Great Shang Kingdom. Mingruolan stared at Yan Duo for a moment, the expression on her face slightly condensed. "Ah, Ruolan, don't you know, that guy was very popular in Shangjing City, and the princess of the Great Shang Kingdom would hang out with him at any time. I think they are definitely having an affair." Yan Duo started to talk dirty and said with excitement. He started to laugh. "By the way, when he was the inspector of Donggang, he had several beautiful women under him, including a gentle and lovely beautiful secretary. Gee, they all obeyed him and admired him very much. I was envious when I saw it." Mingruolan listened to Yan Duo's words attentively, with an expressionless face. She seemed very calm. After listening, she just nodded slightly. "Oh, I know, he did work hard to complete the task. He, how many people can't envy this hard work?" Yan Duo continued to be mean. A smile suddenly appeared on Mingruolan's face, and then she said to Yan Duo in a kind tone, "I suddenly remembered something. There are only 2 of us here now. You are a man, you should think of a way to see him. Are you in the Sea of Immortality now?" Yan Duo suddenly puffed up his chest. "Ahem, of course I am a man, Ruolan, did you just realize it?" "But, Ruolan, how can you find him?" Mingruolan looked at Yan Duo. Her tone was still so refreshing, but what she said made Yan Duo, who was so confident just now, feel like he was falling into an ice cave. "Go out and find a place, dress up as him and show up. If we make some noise and leave a secret signal, if he is still in the Immortal Sea, he will definitely know that we have arrived at the Immortal Sea. Ruolan, you said you let me pretend to be him and go out for a walk. Yan Duo stuttered, his face turned a little pale, and he almost couldn't stand. Why, aren't you willing? Ming Ruolan's eyes became brighter and her tone became gentler. He has been hunted for so many years, why don't you show up pretending to be him and share the burden for him? Are you not willing? Aren't we good brothers with him? I heard that Wolong Island in the Immortal Sea is very lively. Why don't you go to Wolong Island for a walk? Yan Duo was about to cry, his heart was filled with despair, and his chest muscles were withered. Ruolan, how can it be so easy to pretend to be him? I, a little summoner of the Sixth Sun Realm, want to kill the gods. The insect world pretends to be him and shows up. I will soon become cannon fodder. Anyone who meets me will eat me alive. This is not pretending to be a person. This is clearly asking me to go up the mountain of swords and jump into the sea of fire and jump into the frying pan alone to fight against thousands of troops. Ma, you want to confirm whether he is safe or not, you like him, but, you don't need to sacrifice me, I am also your companion. It doesn't matter, I believe in your ability, you won't die that easily. Suddenly, Yan Duo seemed to understand something. He looked at Ming Ruolan pitifully, wishing he could slap himself in the face. Ruolan, I was wrong, okay, I was wrong, he's on top. Everything in the capital is, all made up by me. Don't get me wrong, what does that person's visit to the capital have to do with me? I don't care if he has any princesses, secretaries, beautiful women, or subordinates around him. I'm not who he is, Ming Ruolan said coldly, glancing at Yan Duo, who was standing naked and shivering in the cold wind. He said, since you are afraid of danger and are unwilling to save your companions, then I will consider your Seven Sun Realm Divine Spring again. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 837. Just as Ming Ruolan and Yan Duo were talking, a figure quickly flew over from the distant mountain peak and landed outside the pavilion where Ming Ruolan was. The person who flew over was also Xiaopinggan's acquaintance, Granny Yan. The silver-haired Grandma Yan's sharp and contemptuous eyes just glanced at Yan Duo's small body. Yan Duo felt like pork on the chopping board. Suddenly he felt inexplicable embarrassment. Yan Duo hurriedly he covered 2 points of his chest with both hands. The way he looked, when he was covering the 2 points of his chest, he was still holding a wooden stick with a fish in his hand, which was simply ridiculous. Your body is as shriveled as a salted fish, and your hair is as white as a mouse. You always like to show off. You have nothing to show off. It's true that ugly people often do mischief. Granny Yan's mouth is like a knife. Just a few words made Yan Duo feel ashamed. What's wrong, mother-in-law? Ming Ruolan asked. Just now news came from the Wanchen sect that some people from outside the island are staring at Piamiao Mountain and asking us if we need to take any measures, Granny Yan replied. After hearing this, Ming Ruolan just smiled slightly and said, tell the people of Wanchen sect that we should stay still. As long as we don't move, those people will not be able to figure out our reality and will still wait outside, and we will be able to by keeping people contained here. The mission to the Sea of Immortality will be completed. Okay, I understand, Granny Yan nodded, looked at Yan Duo with disdain, and then flew away. Grandma Yan had just left. Ming Ruolan looked at Yan Duo and was about to say something. Suddenly, a voice penetrated into her ears, Ruolan, I am Xiaopinggan. I didn't expect that we could still be here. Goodbye. Ming Ruolan was startled when she heard the voice. She almost thought she was hallucinating, but the voice belonged to Xiaopinggan. There was no mistake about it. She was just talking about Xiaopinggan with Yan Duo. Unexpectedly, Xiaopinggan has actually sneaked into Piamiao Mountain silently. Yan Duo was getting dressed dejectedly when Ming Ruolan suddenly spoke, forget it, the outside has been quiet these past 2 days. There are many people staring at Biao Mountain. I guess you were stared at as soon as you went out. Whatever you want to do will reveal your flaws. You'd better practice peacefully in this misty mountain first. Your strength is too weak. The array plate I gave you last time is for life-saving purposes. You must control it so that you can send and receive it with your heart. Okay, don't embarrass our Tianxing sect when the time comes, and you may even lose your life. When Yan Duo heard this, Ming Ruolan actually didn't want him to be cannon fodder. He felt as if he had received an amnesty and was so happy that he nodded like a chicken pecking at rice. I have mastered the control of the pen and can move and retract it freely. Even if a few people from the Seven Sun realm come to me, I can still cover it. Really? Ming Ruolan nodded and pointed at the valley. Then let me test you. You should aim at this valley and try it. If there are masters from the Seven Sun realm coming from both sides of the valley, the attack is coming, let's see how you respond. It's easy, Yan Duo laughed, took out a 1-foot square bronze formation disc, pinched a finger with one hand, and threw the formation disc to the ground. The entire valley was instantly enveloped by a large formation. Look, the big formation looks misty and rainy from the outside. A 7-story building is gleaming with golden light, looming in the formation. Occasionally, thunder and flames flash past in the mist, making a rumbling echo in the valley. This array is really good. I have completely mastered it now. Yan Duo was happy when he found that Ming Ruolan, who was looking at him just now, had stood up from the pavilion with a slightly excited expression on his face. A pair of bright eyes looked around, and after taking a deep breath, he said to the void around him, "There is no one to disturb you in this valley now, can you come out?" "Ah, Ruolan, who are you talking to?" Yan Duo was stunned for a moment. Then, Yan Duo heard a lazy voice with a hint of smile. "Of course you're talking to me." This sound, Yan Duo was stunned. He held the fish stick in his hand and dropped it to the ground. Then, Yan Duo saw Xiaopingan appearing in front of him, smiling. "Look at him." "Ah!" Yan Duo shouted excitedly, jumped up, rushed directly to Xiaopingan, hugged Xiaopingan, and laughed, you guy, sure enough, still alive as expected." Seeing Yan Duo's true feelings revealed, Xiaopingan also smiled. Yan Duo, apart from being a bit mean-tempered at times, was actually pretty good. Seeing Xiaopingan appear, Ming Ruolan did not rush over as exaggeratedly as Yan Duo and hugged Xiaopingan passionately, but she also bit her lips tightly, her chest heaved and her eyes were slightly red. Ever since the Tian mending project started, something unexpected happened, and she lost contact with Xiaopingan. When she heard the news about Xiaopingan again, Xiaopingan was wanted and was hunted down. She was worried and powerless. Thinking of finally seeing the figure that made her miss her here today. The Xiaopingan in front of him is still the same as when he participated in the sky mending project. He has not changed at all. He is wise and calm. The cold temperament exuding from his bones is also accompanied by a hint of all-embracing gentleness. That is after understanding everything. Still choose to love, those eyes, those eyebrows, that nose, yes, it is still the same Xiaopingan, this temperament, even if someone wants to pretend, they can't fake it. Tanijima. Wait. Yan Duo suddenly shouted, pushed away 2 steps, and looked at Xiaopingan with vigilant eyes, you can't be someone else's fake one, right? Xiaopingan shook his head and smiled bitterly. This guy is quite vigilant. How can I prove that I'm not a fake? Tell me, where did we meet in Shangjing City that day? Also, the first time we cooperated, we solved a major case. At that time, one of your summoning spells achieved great success. You summoned the thing you summoned at that time. Come out and take a look. Yan Duo stared at Xiaopingan, not relaxing at all. The place where we first met in Shangjing City was Tianyuan Bridge, Xiaopingan said, and with a wave of his hand, he summoned the black dragon. Xiaopinggan pointed at Yan Duo and said go, and he was happy when the black dragon was summoned. After screaming twice, he rushed towards Yan Duo, rolled Yan Duo into a ball on the ground, and licked Yan Duo's face with his tongue. Ah ah ah! Yan Duo screamed in confusion, I believe it, my face, don't lick my face, get the black dragon away quickly. Xiaopinggan ignored Yan Duo and walked directly to Mingruolan. He took a deep look at this beautiful and powerful woman and smiled slightly, thank you for your hard work. Mingruolan finally opened her arms, hugged Xiaopinggan tightly, and buried her head in Xiaopinggan's chest. Xiaopinggan was stunned for a moment, then spread out his arms and hugged Mingruolan. This is the hug between comrades, friends, and partners who meet again after a disaster. All the thousands of words and hardships are contained in this hug. Yan Duo, who was embracing the black dragon passionately and was licked by the black dragon's tongue so much that he wanted to jump into the stream, looked at Xiaopinggan and Mingruolan hugging each other, and suddenly realized with grief and anger that as soon as Xiaopinggan appeared, he could only hug with the dog. Ah, people are so irritating. Yan Duo screamed. Then, Yan Duo discovered something. The strength of this black dragon was a bit too strong. It seemed to be different from before. This was just summoned by Xiaopinggan. It's just a dog. Why does it have so much strength? It feels more powerful than a lion or a tiger. When the black dragon rushed towards me just now, it was so fast that I subconsciously didn't avoid it. You know, I am now in the 6 Yang realm. Summoner. What happened? Xiaopinggan and Mingruolan hugged each other silently for a few seconds before Mingruolan let go, took 2 steps back, took a deep breath, and smiled, it's nice to see you. Xiaopinggan touched his nose, then spread his hands, Ruolan, there is something I want to confess to you and apologize to you. Ah, what's the matter? Mingruolan's heart suddenly tightened inexplicably. Mingruolan had a smile on her face, but her mind couldn't help but think of the princess of the Great Shang Kingdom that bastard Yan Duo just mentioned. This is actually the second time I've seen you. The last time I saw you was on the Wanshan Star, in the secret palace of your Tianxing section. My other identity is Mei Zheng. What? The famous little crazy god Mei Zheng is Xiaopinggan. This time, not only Mingruolan, but also Yan Duo, who was rolling with the black dragon over there, was stunned. Are you telling the truth? Mingruolan suddenly laughed and gently stroked her hair at the temples, her tone suddenly becoming gentle. Mingruolan smiled, but Xiaopinggan felt a little guilty, but he still nodded, yes. The next second, Mingruolan suddenly grabbed Xiaopinggan's hand and bit Xiaopinggan's hand hard. The saint of Tianxing sect was like a furious tigress at this moment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 838. Hey, 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 what are you two doing? It's broad daylight, and I'm still here. Are you starting to lose control? You're hugging, kissing, and biting. Please pay attention to the impact, okay? Yan Duo screamed in grief and anger beside him. Xiaopinggan also gritted his teeth in pain, because he found that when Mingruolan bit someone, it really hurt, it hurt so much that it hurt to the bone. His current body is stronger than steel alloy, and it is already a lower-level immortal body. It stands to reason that no matter how sharp Mingruolan's teeth are, it will not hurt no matter how hard she bites them. However, Xiaopinggan discovered that it seemed that she was biting his hand, but in fact, this woman was using her teeth to leave a soul power mark calibrated with a secret method on the bones of his hand. This was truly love to the bone. Xiaopinggan didn't know what Mingruolan was feeling at the moment, like venting, feeling dissatisfied, and feeling distressed. At this time, Mingruolan felt more like a woman. Mingruolan finally raised her head and smoothed her hair gracefully. She seemed to have drank a glass of wine just now. Yan Duo was still beeping over there. Mingruolan glanced at Yan Duo and said, The guy instantly swallowed the words that just rushed to his throat, laughed dryly, turned the black dragon on, and walked towards the two of them. Mingruolan looked at Xiaopingan with bright eyes and forced a smile. Don't think too much, I just used a secret method to leave a soul mark on your arm to prevent you from changing your identity and coming to me in the future, and I don't know you, I was tricked by you again. With this mark, no matter how you change, as soon as you get close to me, I will know that it is you. By the way, I forgot to congratulate you. I heard that you are engaged to the daughter of the Di family. The daughter of the family must be very beautiful, right? Xiaopingan looked at the tooth mark on the outside of his arm. With the speed of his body's recovery, the tooth mark soon became so faint that no trace could be seen. The mark of soul power left by Mingruolan on his hand bones was, to others, naturally, it is difficult to remove, but for a soul power master like him, he can clear it with a single thought. Xiaopingan glanced at Mingruolan and did not remove the soul power mark she left on his bones. However, if this woman wants to congratulate herself, shouldn't she congratulate herself for obtaining the Mad God inheritance and advancing to the Nine Yang realm and mastering the way of combining magic and martial arts? This is the most relevant thing to the task. How can she congratulate herself for becoming such a successful person? The son-in-law of the Di family. The engagement contract between me and the Di family is just the product of the conflict and struggle between me and the Di family. I have never seen the girl from the Di family and I don't care what she is like. This engagement is just a joke. I have already made love to the Di family. People have said it before, and there is no need to mention it again. Xiaopingan explained. Mingruolan's eyes flashed, and she seemed to be relieved, but she pretended to be careless and said something duplicitous. Oh, what a pity. With the help of a divine family like the Di family, we can complete the plan to mend the sky. The possibility is greater, why don't you think about it again? Ahem, what's there to think about? It's just a divine family. Yan Duo finally came over and glanced at Xiaopingan and Mingruolan with his eyes. It felt like they were two people. It looked like he had a leg, but this guy has learned to be smart now and knows what to say and what not to say. Instead, he changed the topic. Brother, you said you are Mei Zheng, what's going on? Mei Zheng is not the 10 sons of gods, the little crazy god, how did you become him? Xiaopingan didn't hide anything, and briefly introduced his experience. By chance, he fused a world bead that could master the secret method of transformation, how he got the 7 Yang realm divine spring, and how he was related to Tianxing sect. Even if Xiaopingan spoke briefly about these experiences, Yan Duo and Mingruolan could still feel the danger and thrill in them. Both of them changed their expressions. They didn't expect that Xiaopingan had experienced so much and how much. Only a narrow escape can turn the name Mei Zheng into a little mad god. As summoners who have entered the 6 Yang realm or above, the two of them understand very well. When she heard that Xiaopingan had signed a contract of betrayal with the Wanchen sect to fight on the Wanchen star for the Xuanhuan of the 7 Sun realm, Mingruolan looked at Xiaopingan, her eyes slightly red. She opened her mouth, wanting to say something, but he never said it. Even Yan Duo's face lost even a hint of joking and disrespectful expression. He pursed his lips tightly and clenched his fists together unconsciously. It doesn't matter. Ruoxi is now a saint of the Tianxing section. One person in the Tianxing sect is better than 10,000 people. She will soon master the Tianxing section. We don't need to work so hard for Xuanhuan in the future, Yan Duo consoled her. Say Xiaopingan. Ahem. Xiaopingan coughed twice. By the way, I almost forgot to tell you that I just came back from the secret realm of heaven. We have now advanced to demigods, and we no longer need the divine spring. What? You have advanced to demigod. Yan Duo almost turned to stone, and his mouth was wide open, as if his jaw was dislocated. Just now, he was pitying Xiaopingan, but unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, in a moment, Xiaoping's words almost subverted Yan Duo's worldview. He had already tried his best to advance to the 6 Yang realm. He thought that the gap between him and Xiaoping was not big. Unexpectedly, Xiaoping already advanced to demigod. My god, demigod, how is this possible? When did it become so easy to advance to demigod? Are you kidding? Ming Ruolan was also stunned and looked at Xiaoping with some hesitation, because in Xiaoping's body, she did not feel the suffocatingly powerful half of Xiaoping's body. The breath of God. Xiaoping didn't speak, he just released a little bit of his aura towards the two of them, letting his aura disappear as soon as it was released. Xiaoping controlled the range and time of his aura. The whole process took less than 1/100th of a second. The range was only limited to 1 meter around the two people. But in this less than 1/100th of a second, Ming Ruolan and Yan Duo suddenly felt that Xiaoping beside them had completely changed in that moment, looking down at them like a mountain. Their secret mandala was instantly frozen, completely suppressed by that aura. And it started to tremble. Even the top experts in the 9 Sun realm are not on the same level in front of demigods, just like children, let alone the summoners below the 9 Yang realm. In front of the demigods, they are as fragile as embryos and eggs. Even children are considered not on. Gucci. Oh, Grandma, you are so perverted and so offensive that you have actually advanced to the level of demigod. I feel like I am in a dream. Oh, no, I feel like an imbecile in front of you. From now on I don't dare to tell others that you are my brother. If I say it again, others will definitely wonder why I am such a loser. Yan Duo smiled bitterly, no wonder I felt that the black dragon was different just now. It turned out that it was demigod summons. I have my opportunities, and you also have yours. There is no need to be envious. If I hadn't been lucky, I would have died 10 times, Xiaoping shook his head and saw that neither of them knew what to say. Xiaoping asked Yan Duo a question. Changing the subject, by the way, Yan Duo, why are you with Ruolan? It's a long story. To put it simply, it actually has something to do with you, Yan Duo also cheered up. Is it related to me? Of course it has something to do with you, Yan Duo sighed and began to speak. Originally, I have contacted many other people who participated in the Sky Mending project. We also established an organization in the dating kingdom of Majiazhu. It was called Tianhuo sect, and everything was prosperous. However, because you were wanted by the demon god, the people of the blood demon sect and many people who wanted to have your idea never gave up looking for you in the Yuankai world. People have been following them, and they want to find you by focusing on the traces of other skywalkers, or force you to show up. Fortunately, we got the information from Ruolan's people in time, but we would have been wiped out by the blood demon cult. As a last resort, the Tianhuo sect was disbanded before the blood demon sect started to take action in Majiazhu. Everyone broke into pieces and all of a sudden went their separate ways to develop in various countries and continents incognito. Since I have advanced to the 6 Yang realm, I came to the god-killing insect realm. Join the Tianxing section. I have always asked the Tianxing sect to pay attention to the news about the blood demon sect and you. Ming Ruolan said, when I found out that the blood demon sect began to gather experts in Majiao continent, I guessed that it might be our other Ran Mujiaozhou was exposed, so I thought of a way to inform Yan Duo and the others. The development of a group can quickly accumulate considerable strength in the early stage, but once it reaches the middle and late stages, once the Skywalkers get together, the danger will be the bigger a drop of water is. The only way it can avoid drying up and being discovered is if it blends into the ocean. I'm sorry, I didn't expect that I would harm you all, Xiaoping said to Yan Duo. You can't say that. It's because of you that we have attracted all the attention and power of the blood demon sect, leaving our enemies with no time to care. Without you, the Tianhuo sect would not have been smooth sailing. Everything is relative, Mingruo. Lan comforts Xiaoping. It's time to solve the problem of the blood demon section before I leave the world of Yuan. I will find a way to completely solve the blood demon sect and eliminate all enemies so that no one will dare to attack us casually in the future. Xiaopinggan took a deep breath and said calmly. Solving the blood demon cult was a problem that Yan Duo and Ming Ruolan didn't dare to think about before. But for some reason, when Xiaopinggan said it, they felt that it was not a difficult task. The man in front of them would definitely be able to do it. Yan Duo's expression changed slightly. Leaving Yuan Kai world, are you planning to go to that place? Yes, I have now advanced to demigod. After completing various preparations, I will go to the realm of the gods to attack the gods. I need to complete the plan to mend the sky and end the space invasion. Only becoming a god is possible. Are you leaving so soon? Ming Ruolan's heart trembled slightly. The sky patching plan cannot be delayed any longer. You actually understand that a greater crisis and a more terrifying space invasion may come at any time. The earth is too fragile. Xiaopinggan glanced at Ming Ruolan. Ruolan, you now that you are in the 8 Yang realm, I can help you quickly reach the peak of the 9 Yang realm, and at the same time give you 100 million military merit points from the Tiandao Guard army. With your ability, it will be a matter of time before you advance to demigod in the future. Ruolan's qualifications are more outstanding, and she has more hope of advancing to demigod after me. We have limited resources, so we guarantee Ruolan first. After Ruolan advances, Yan Duo, you can also try to attack the 8 Yang realm. Having said this, Xiaopinggan paused slightly and looked at Yan Duo and Ming Ruolan with a smile. The road to becoming a god is more dangerous and difficult than becoming a demigod. If I fail, I will not be able to come back and sacrifice myself to the gods. Ruolan, you will lead everyone to continue to complete the mission. The sky mending project is our mission. When looking at Xiaopinggan with a smile and saying that if she sacrificed herself, she would continue to lead everyone to complete the mission, Ming Ruolan couldn't bear it anymore. Tears rolled down her eyes, but she still stayed strong. Nod. Having become a demigod, he had already stood at the pinnacle of the world, but he was still ready to sacrifice himself to complete the mission and embark on the thorny road of no return. Yan Duo's eyes also turned red, and he felt like something was choking him in his throat. As Xiaopinggan waved his hand, a large number of colorful world beads appeared in front of Ming Ruolan. Ruolan, which of these world beads have you not fused with before? Tell me and I can help you with the Holy Master initiation. Complete the integration in the shortest time. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 839. Piamiao Mountain, Qiun Peak, Starjiang Tower. This is the most beautiful and quiet place in Piamiao Mountain. The place where Ming Ruolan plays the piano during the day is in the Huansha Valley below the Star Building. The Star Building and the Huansha Valley are lush and green, with strange rocks and pines everywhere. There are also white clouds and mist hanging like a white gauze in the mountains, making the place extremely enchanting and colorful. The Starjiang Tower is also the most gorgeous and luxurious place in Piamiao Mountain. With white jade as the base, gold as the pillars, carved beams, and painted buildings, it is grand and luxurious. The 7-story star-picking tower is where the entire Piamiao Mountain receives distinguished guests. It represents the strength and respect of the Wanshen sect. Ming Ruolan lives in Zaixing Building. As night fell, stars appeared in the sky above the star-reaching tower. A gray array light curtain lit up outside the star-reaching tower, shrouding the entire star-reaching tower. Grandma Yan flew in from a distant mountain peak and landed outside the Starjiang Tower. Seeing the brilliance flowing outside the Starjiang Tower, Grandma Yan was also stunned. At this moment, Yan Duo was squatting under a big tree outside the star-reaching tower. He was bored. He was holding a wooden stick in his hand and teasing the ants under the tree with rice. A big black dog was also lying on Yan Duo's side. The picture around me is exceptionally harmonious. Ah, is it inside the saint lady? Granny Yan glanced at Yan Duo and asked. As for the big black dog next to Yan Duo, it looked like a summoned object. Granny Yan didn't pay attention, thinking it was Yan Duo's summons. When it comes out, the summoner summons some pets or something, that's normal. The saint needs to practice the secret method, and may have to stay in seclusion for a few days, Yan Duo said weakly. Then what are you doing here? Granny Yan always disliked Yan Duo and felt that Yan Duo was an eyesore when he appeared next to the saint every day. The saint asked me to guard outside the formation. I'm bored. Why don't I tease the ants? Yan Duo said angrily. Oh, since the saint is practicing, I won't let anyone bring dinner. The Xuanhuan sect has also prepared a banquet of 7 seas and hundreds of delicacies. Granny Yan said, turned around and left. Hey, mother-in-law, I haven't had dinner yet. Yan Duo stood up and shouted quickly. Granny Yan rolled her eyes at Yan Duo and said, go down below and grill the fish. There are some cold steamed buns in the kitchen. If you want them, go get them yourself. After saying that, Granny Yan flew away without stopping. Why are there so many differences between people? Yan Duo raised his head, with a look of speechless questions on his face. The black dragon next to him raised his head and looked at Yan Duo sympathetically. Grandmas, isn't it just the Holy Master's initiation? 3 people can do it, and it won't affect anything. My good brother Xiaoping'an didn't say anything. I can just watch from the side. That woman, why did you kick me out? Let me stand guard outside, ugh. Yan Duo muttered, looking at the 7-star tower helplessly. In the 7-star tower, in the secret room, Xiaoping'an sat cross-legged opposite Mingruolan, and on Mingruolan's body, the cocoon of the Yellow Emperor seeks famous ministers in his dream shrouded her whole body, and the 2 of them beside him, Dream Master world beads were floating in the void. Xiaoping'an collected a lot of world beads from the blood front base. In addition to those he had accumulated before, just the Dream Master world beads, he has more than 80 here, which can be enough to make a complete 3-piece set. For the rest, in addition to using a set from Senior Bronze Man, Xiaoping'an also created 2 more pastors. From the very beginning, Xiaoping'an had initiated the Dream Master world bead on Mingruolan. Once Mingruolan completes the fusion of the Dream Master world pearl and becomes a pastor, he will also have the ability to return to the Great Yan Kingdom from the spirit world in the future. He can even find another clone. With Mingruolan in charge, the people on that planet will Xiaoping'an no longer needs to worry about the situation, and Mingruolan has also integrated the Sun Saint World Pearl. At a critical moment in the future, Mingruolan can bring back all the people on that planet as a backup for the sky repairing plan. With Mr. Jing and Mingruolan in charge, Xiaoping'an can go to the divine realm with confidence. Mingruolan fused very quickly. This was already the 19th world bead she had fused. Xiaoping'an felt that Mingruolan's aura of divine power was gradually approaching the peak of the 8 Yang realm. A few minutes later, the light cocoon on Mingruolan shattered, and Mingruolan suddenly opened her eyes. Gulan. Xiaoping'an picked up another Dream Master world bead. This world bead was Tang Taizong dreamed of Shuirongui. Xiaoping'an explained to Mingruolan, fusing 3 more Dream Master world beads, your secret mandala big changes will occur, and there will be an additional spiritual world temple. Through the spiritual world temple, you can enter the spiritual world, and you can also return to our hometown through the spiritual world. The most important thing is that in the spiritual world, you can cultivate your soul force. Mingruolan, who was sitting cross-legged in front of Xiaoping'an, said nothing and just looked at Xiaoping'an blankly. Xiaoping'an thought Mingruolan was tired. Ah, I'm sorry, I almost forgot that your soul power is not that strong yet. If you fuse so many world beads in a row, you must be tired. You can take a rest and we can fuse again. Do you think I'm beautiful? Mingruolan suddenly asked. What? Xiaoping'an was stunned, not understanding why Mingruolan suddenly asked such a question. Suddenly, Mingruolan made a move. She hugged Xiaoping'an tightly, buried her head in Xiaoping'an's chest, and hugged her tightly, as if she was afraid that Xiaoping'an would disappear from her face. Same. Xiaoping'an felt the warmth of Mingruolan. This hug was different from the previous hug. Before, it was the condolences of his companions and the comfort of his comrades. But at this moment, it was a hot soul trying to blend into his heart. Before you leave, let me give you a child, Mingruolan whispered in Xiaoping'an's ear, her face starting to heat up. Xiaoping'an let Mingruolan hold him. He remained motionless and just closed his eyes. Another happy and angry face appeared in Xiaoping'an's heart. It was a girl who sometimes looked stupid and a little naive. When you laugh, it's beautiful, but when you cry, it's heartbreaking. After a long time, Xiaoping'an said softly, I'm sorry, I have someone else in my heart. I don't want you to like me, and I don't want you to betray anyone. I just want you to have me in your life. I just want to leave you a child so that you have no regrets. When our child grows up, I will teach him to be an adult. I will go find you. Xiaoping'an never moved. Mingruolan hugged him tightly. The two of them stayed quiet for a few minutes in this atmosphere, and each could feel the other's heartbeat and pulse. Mingruolan's body was hot at first, but then she slowly regained her composure. She let go of Xiaoping'an's hand, sat down again, wiped away the trace of wetness under her eyes, and showed her face again. He gave a nonchalant smile, as bright as a summer flower, and the poignant crack of a flawless crystal when it shattered. I understand. Sorry. You don't have to say sorry, it's my own problem. By the way, can you tell me her name? Her name is, Cao. Xiaoping'an's face showed a hint of tenderness. Cao, Mingruolan whispered. This is a name as ordinary as grass. Take a rest, gather your mind, and prepare to fuse the next moment's world pearl. Xiaoping'an's voice has returned to its coldness. He raised his hand, and there was already a ball of golden light flashing in his hand. Mingruolan nodded, and there was no extra expression on her face. She closed her eyes, her face was like jade, with a holy brilliance, and she let Xiaoping'an's palm brush over her head, letting the golden light it sank into her body. A moment later, Mingruolan's blood dripped on the bead that said Tang Taizong dreamed of Xuanhuan, and her body was once again surrounded by a cocoon of light. Just a few hours later, Mingruolan's body in the secret room experienced violent fluctuations in divine power. Unknowingly, Mingruolan had reached the peak of the 8-yang realm. Golden Summoner. Author, Xuanhuan. Chapter 840. The key to the so-called large sect is the word intelligence. These two words include a lot of things. Others know the information you don't know, others have entered the secret realm you have not entered, others have the world beads you don't have, and you don't have the world beads. Others also have social relationships. A large sect is like a bottomless pool of water. It is calm on the surface, but it is really difficult for outsiders to imagine what is in the underwater abyss. Of course, as a large sect, the most important thing is that those who stand at the top of these large sects can obtain the resources that you have worked so hard to obtain without any effort. Xiaoping'an finally understood why Mingruolan could advance to the 8-yang realm so quickly in Tianxing sect. In the secret room, as the cocoon of light on Mingruolan's body shattered, Xiaoping'an felt that Mingruolan's divine power had reached the peak of the 8-yang realm. Xiaoping'an was about to ask Mingruolan if he could have the divine spring of the 9-yang realm. Unexpectedly, Mingruolan moved her hand, and a bright 9-yang realm divine spring appeared in her hand. Xiaoping'an smiled bitterly, do you always carry this divine spring with you? Except for the 9 heavens divine spring, I basically carry all the sacred springs I need to advance with me. These important cultivation resources have been accumulated by the Tianxing sect in the past generations. After fusing so many world beads, Ming Ruolan's expression changed. It has returned to normal, still so bright, calm, and natural, looking incomprehensible, as if nothing had happened before, which also made the two of them no longer embarrassed in the secret room, waiting for this time. Tianxing, the deal between the sect and the Wanchen sect has been reached. From now on, the Tianxing sect will be able to share half of the profits from the divine spring of the Seven Sun realm in the Immortal Sea, and the Tianxing sect will no longer be short of the divine spring of the Seven Sun realm. Thinking that he had gone through all the trouble to go to the Heavenly King sect with the Heavenly King order to get the divine spring in the Nine Yang realm, Xiaopingan didn't know what to say. This is a comparison of people to death. It's like one in the sky and the other in the earth. Think about it. Also, even the Divine Tomb sect can obtain things. The Tianxing sect is countless times stronger than the Divine Tomb section. It is indeed not unusual to be able to obtain the divine spring of the Nine Sun realm. There are many people outside this misty mountain watching your whereabouts. If necessary, I can help you send those people away. Ming Ruolan smiled slightly. I stood in the Piamiao mountain on purpose to let those people stare at me, to attract their attention. There are elders and people from the Wanchen sect in the sect to confirm the delivery of the divine spring. It is real, but it is imaginary. After the Shenquan is confirmed, I will go to the Wanchen star with the Wanshen sect, and use my secret mandala to bring back the people who should be brought back from the Wanshen star. It turns out that this is how Ming Ruolan stayed in Piamiao mountain, doing nothing but making fun of the people outside. I will go outside to protect you. I will come in after you have integrated the divine spring and advanced to the Nine Yang realm. Xiaopingan said, standing up and preparing to leave the secret room. When merging the divine spring, the summoner will be incapacitated. Kungsu felt that it was inconvenient for him to watch here, so Xiaopingan left the secret room and sat cross-legged outside the secret room, waiting for Ming Ruolan to merge with the divine spring. It takes at least 7 days for a summoner to advance to the Nine Sun realm and merge with the divine spring of the Nine Sun realm. Fortunately, for the summoner in retreat, 7 days is just a blink of an eye. Since Ming Ruolan is in retreat now, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about anyone disturbing you. Outside the secret room, Xiaopingan took out a bunch of materials to start refining the formation disc, while waiting for Ming Ruolan to merge with the divine spring. In the first 3 days, everything was normal in the secret room, but on the 4th day, Xiaopingan, who was refining the formation disc, suddenly stopped and frowned slightly because he felt the divine power coming from the secret room. The fluctuations were suddenly a little chaotic. This was not a normal reaction that the fusion of the divine spring should have. Did something unexpected happen? Xiaopingan suddenly became vigilant. His fusion of the divine spring was just like the fusion of the world pearl. It had always been extremely smooth and he had never encountered any setbacks. However, Xiaopingan also knew that after the summoner advanced, after the Six Yang realm, not all summoners will have smooth sailing when fusing the divine spring without encountering any obstacles. Some summoners will be after the Six Yang realm, because fusing the divine spring will bring about huge changes in the body and mind as well as the secret mandala. The summoning at this time, the summoner is most likely to be taken advantage of by inner demons, and may be in danger. In the most serious case, the secret mandala of the summoner will collapse and his body will explode when he merges with the divine spring. Just after a moment, the chaos in the secret room suddenly became intense, and Xiaopingan even felt a trace of blood smell emanating from the secret room. Xiaopingan's face changed, and he pushed hard without thinking. Shimen, who opened the secret room, rushed into the secret room. Ming Ruolan's body glows like a holy swan, standing motionless in the void of the secret room out of thin air, surrounded by a bright divine spring. At this moment, the secret room has been unknowingly occupied by Ming Ruolan's domain. The power of the secret room, which was originally more than 200 square meters, Felt like entering a wilderness after Xiaopinggan rushed in. The space of the secret room turned into a domain and suddenly became huge. The green wind howled in Mingruolan's domain, and goose feather like snow fell in the sky. It was extremely bleak and filled with an air of despair. The changes in her secret mandala were unknowingly projected into the domain. The domain power that symbolized the wind rolled up the white snow and raged in her domain. Ordinary 7 Yang realm, if they enter her realm at this time, they will be blasted to pieces by the projection of her realm and the secret mandala in an instant. Fortunately, Xiaopinggan has advanced to demigod and has an immortal divine body. Mingruo Ian's power is still unable to cause harm to Xiaopinggan. Half of the 9 Sun realm divine spring surrounding her body has been absorbed, and the remaining half is outside Mingruolan's body, blocked by a circle of red light emanating from Mingruolan's body. The red light burns like a flame. Still, in the flames, various lights and shadows were constantly twisting, and illusions of summoned objects of various colors continued to appear. The faces of those summoned objects were twisted and painful, and in the blink of an eye, they turned into light and shadow and shattered. The heavy snow in her domain howled in the strong wind, and turned into pieces of burning feathers after falling to the ground. The feathers turned into ashes and stretched on the ground into a lifeless gray desert. The gray desert was in her domain. The area continues to extend, and the area is getting larger and larger, without any green and vitality. Sure enough, he was taken advantage of by his inner demon. Gucci. Xiaopinggan was shocked, because the many changes and illusions that appeared in Mingruolan's domain and the projection of the secret mandala were, from a certain perspective, a reflection of Mingruolan's state of mind. At this time, he didn't care much anymore. Xiaopinggan rushed directly to Mingruolan without even thinking about it, hugged Mingruolan and shouted, "Ruolan." Mingruolan's eyes were closed tightly, her body was cold and unresponsive. Xiaopingyan put her hand on Mingruolan's head and realized that Mingruolan's current state was extremely dangerous. Her whole mind had been taken advantage of by the inner demon, and she had already immersed in her own secret mandala, unable to break free. Mingruolan's entire secret mandala was shaking violently and was about to collapse. The next second, a ball of golden light burst out from Xiaopinggan's body, surrounding Mingruolan. In Mingruolan's secret mandala, the sky was covered with snow and the wind was roaring. The wind and snow were getting bigger and bigger, gradually sealing a huge city in ice. The strong wind was weathering the frozen city little by little, and outside the city, thousands of miles away, the beautiful rivers and mountains, at this moment, are in the wind and snow. The earth is cracked, the rivers are drying up, the trees are withered, and the flowers are still withering. Magma and flames are pouring out from the earth, swallowing everything up. The earth and mountains are in flames. The wind and snow are turning into a desert little by little, and all the vitality is quickly passing away here, like a world that is heading for destruction. In the midst of the wind and snow, inside the mandala, there was a mountain peak, like a pillar of heaven, rising into the sky. At the highest point of that mountain peak, there was a barefoot, wearing a snow-white dress, isolated and independent. The beautiful figure stood on the edge of the cliff of the highest peak, calmly watching the world in front of her being destroyed. Her black hair and snow-white dress were flying lonely. In the sky full of wind and snow, Xiaopinggan's figure appeared behind the figure and called out, "Ruolan." The figure turned around, it was Mingruolan, and at this moment, Mingruolan's flawless face was covered with her tears, and her whole body was full of sadness and despair. Like a helpless little girl, standing on the cliff, she turned around and looked at the person who called her name. Seeing Xiaopinggan, Mingruolan, who was full of tears, still smiled sadly, "Have you ever liked me?" When Mingruolan asked this question, the sky of the world darkened and became pitch black. The entire secret mandala was trembling. The volcanoes on the ground rolled, and countless magmas surged out, flooding the earth like a sea. The desert was covered by the strong wind whipped up and turned into a rolling sandstorm, like black evil dragons, raging in the flames and magma. The whole world is about to be destroyed. Xiaopinggan understood that Mingruolan's inner demon was himself. Mingruolan was too proud, too outstanding, and too lonely. Standing alone on this lonely peak overlooking the world, she fell into love and could not extricate herself, making herself her inner demon. Xiaopinggan didn't say anything more, but rushed forward, hugged Mingruolan tightly, lowered his head, and kissed her heavily, savoring the soft and fragrant lips of the painful kiss. The whole world stopped at this moment, the wind stopped, the snow stopped, the surging magma and flames condensed in the air, and the raging sandstorms were like static sculptures on the earth. Mingruolan's hands unconsciously wrapped around Xiaopinggan's neck. Suddenly, in the dark sky, a bright ray of sunshine broke through the clouds and fell on the earth. Where the sun shines, the ice and snow melt quickly, buds and leaves emerge from the ground, and in the blink of an eye, beautiful flowers bloom. The dark clouds in the sky quickly dissipated, and there was more and more sunshine. More and more flowers emerged from the ground, blooming, and stretched into the sea. The world that was about to be destroyed just now was quickly filled with vitality and turned into a world. The ocean of flowers, all the flowers, welcome the spring and bloom shyly and enthusiastically.